And we are going to finish the 8th chapter of the 3rd book of A Tale of Two Cities. The name of the chapter is A Hand at Cards. The name of the book is The Track of the Storm. And what we have here is 4 men in the Paris version of Tellson's. Mr. Laurie is there. Mr. Carden is there. Mr. Cruncher is there, and a man who goes by Barsad, who is the sheep or spy of the prisons. He has tried to tell Carton that his partner is dead and buried, but Cruncher has something to say about this.
"At another time, sir,"
he returned evasively.
"The present time is ill counterweight for explaining. What I stand to is that he knows well what that there Cly was never in that there coffin. Let him say he was in so much a word of one syllable, and I'll either catch hold of his throat and choke him for half a guinea."
Mr. Cruncher dwelt upon this as quite a liberal offer.
"Or I'll out and denounce him."
"I see one thing," said Carton. "I hold another card. Mr. Barsad."
"Impossible here, in raging Paris, with suspicion filling the air, for you to outlive denunciation when you are in communication with another aristocratic spy of the same antecedents as yourself, who, moreover, has the mystery about him of having feigned to death and come to life again. A plot in the prisons of the foreigner against the Republic. A strong card, a certain guillotine card. Do you play?"
"No," returned the spy. "I throw up. I confess that we were so unpopular with the outrageous mob that I only got away from England at the risk of being ducked to death, and that Cly was so ferreted up and down that he never would have got away at all but for that sham. Though how this man knows it was a sham is a wonder and wonders to me."
"Never you trouble your head about this man,"
retorted the contentious Mr. Cruncher.
"You'll have trouble enough with giving your attention to that gentleman. And look here once more."
Mr. Cruncher could not be restrained from making rather an ostentatious parade of his liberality.
"I'd catch hold of your throat and choke you for half a guinea."
The sheep of the prisons turned from him to Sidney Carton and said, with more decision, "It has come to a point. I go on duty and can't overstay my time. You told me you had a proposal. What is it? Now it is of no use asking too much of me. Ask me to do anything in my office, putting my head in great danger, and I had better trust my life to the chances of refusal than the chances of consent. In short, I should make that choice. You talk of desperation. We are all desperate here. Remember, I may denounce you if I think proper, and I can swear my way through stone walls, and so can others. Now, what do you want with me?"
"Not very much. You are a turnkey at the Conciergerie."
"I tell you once and for all, there is no such thing as an escape possible," said the spy firmly.
"Why need you tell me what I have not asked? Are you a turnkey at the Conciergerie?"
"I am sometimes."
"You can be when you choose?"
"I can pass in and out when I choose." Sidney Carton filled another glass with brandy, poured it slowly upon the hearth, and watched it as it dropped. It being all spent, he said, rising,
"So far we have spoken before these two, because it was well that the merits of the cards should not rest solely between you and me. Come into the dark room here, and let us have one final word alone."
And that's the end of Chapter 8.